this video, we're going to have a look at recording a macro. A macro is something that's a repetitive task, something that's done often. So you can actually record your steps so that you don't have to recreate every time you're working within a particular spreadsheet, a new spreadsheet. So in this example, we're going to have a look at recording just a simple header and footer. But think about the complexities that you could use this for within Excel. If you had, for instance, corporate information that you wanted on each new template or new spreadsheet that you created, okay, with the company name, file names, etc. Okay, so you could record these steps, and then instead of having to type it each time with your corporate colours and logo, etc., you could just run the macro, okay, and it would put it all in for you automatically. Okay, so let's have a quick look. Bear with me while I share my screen. Okay, let's go into an existing file that I have. Okay, so this is be familiar to some of you. It's Dolphin Computers that some of you have worked on in the past. Okay, so to record a macro, okay, we go to the View menu. If you bear with me just 1 second, I get to my menu options. Okay, so View, Macros is over on the right hand side, the very last icon. Okay, so you're going to use a little down arrow, and we're going to say record a macro. Okay, you give it a name. Let's just say header footer. Okay, you can use a shortcut key if you want, okay, but remember Excel has already got predetermined shortcuts set up, so just bear that in mind. I tend not to use that for that very reason. Okay, so where do we want to store the macro? You can store it just in this particular workbook, okay, but what you'd really want to do is store it in your personal macro workbook. Okay, then that makes it available to every new spreadsheet that you create. Okay, I'm not going to do that in this instance, and when you're working through your exercises, I wouldn't suggest that you did either, but bear in mind, if you were working across the network under normal circumstances, and not in our COVID-19 situation that we're in, you would want to create it in your personal macro workbook, so then it becomes available every time you open a new spreadsheet. Okay, but for the purposes of this example, we're just going to say this workbook. Okay, you could put in a description if you wanted, okay, about the content of the macro. So I'm just going to click on OK. So now I'm recording every step, whether I'm typing, clicking with my mouse, or a combination of both. Okay, so everything I do is going to be recorded. So I am going to say insert, okay, over to the text icon, and I'm going to say header and footer. Okay, so in my header, I'm going to type Dolphin Computers, okay, but what I want to do first of all, okay, I want this to go across each of the sheets, okay, so I'm going to use my Shift key and click on Murray. Okay, so that's all of them selected. Okay, it doesn't matter if you make a mistake within the macro. Okay, it's you just carry on working. If you've typed something wrong, just delete it out. Okay, and the macro just records it. And when you actually run it, it goes so fast that you wouldn't know that you had mistakes within it. Okay, so again, insert, text, header and footer. Okay, so as I say, I'm just going to simply type Dolphin badly Computers Limited. Okay, I'm going to jump to the footer, and I'm just going to pop in, for instance, we could have the file name, okay, and perhaps the date and time. Okay, so let's just pop in the date, put in a space, and then put the time. So remember, these are fields. Okay, so what will happen when we print this file? Okay, it will always have the current date and the current time. If you want it to have the same text each time that you print it, you would have to type that in as free text. Okay, so then to come out of the header and footer, click out of the footer box, and then use your normal icon here to take you back. Okay, so I'm just going to deselect, go back onto the template, deselect my text, and I'm going to go use Control and Home to get me back to the beginning. Okay, so I'm now going to say View, and I'm going to say Macros, and I'm going to stop recording. Okay, so had I created that within my personal workbook, when I opened up a new Excel spreadsheet, okay, a new file, I would go into Macros, I would say View, and I would see it there. Okay, So I would run it, okay, and then that would put that header and footer into the new document that I'd created. Obviously, we've already created it within this one, so there's no point in using run. If I want to edit it or step into it to look at it, I've got the options there, step into and edit. Okay, so if I click on step into, you can see there, okay, what I've done. Okay, so you can scroll down, okay, and you can see there that I've selected each of the sheets. Okay, I've typed in Dolphin Computers Limited, and I've put in the file name and the date and time. Okay, if I'd spelt Dolphin Computers wrong, for instance, I don't have to delete the macro and recreate it. Okay, if you also wanted to print that, for instance, you could just you could print it from here, take a screenshot, okay, and that would let me see, okay, that you have actually created a macro and not just typed in the header and footer as free text. To get back into the document, just click on the little X over here, View Microsoft Excel, okay, first icon on the left, that will take you back into the document. Okay, if I wanted to delete it, and I could select it, and okay. What you'd also when you save the file, okay, I've actually already this document, but if I'd started this from scratch, if I close it down now and save it, what I want to be saving it is as, I'm just going to go into Save As just now to show the options. Okay, not just as an Excel workbook, but we want to save it as a macro-enabled workbook. Okay, so it's an Excel SM you would be wanting to select. So an Excel macro-enabled workbook. So that means when next time you open the file up, okay, the macro will be available to you and it will be accessible to run it. Okay, so that is how we record a macro. Thank you for watching.